And that reminds me of I'm actually going through Stephen King's memoir called On Writing. And for Stephen King, who's a prolific writer, creates a ton, well, wrote like over 30 fic- like best-selling novels, not just like making 30 novels and then like getting a successful hit, like consistently. I think most of his books have been adapted into film. And he talked about how, oh, the story, he's like, I hate plot. Like he's like, a good writer should never plot. Like you should never just make up the story before you write. And he called stories fossils that he would uncover as he wrote. And so he just established this practice of just getting up every day, writing 10 pages, like a few thousand words. And he says that he's just observing the story, like the premise of the story, and then he's writing what he sees as he's doing it. And I'm like, oh, well, that's literally like design because you're like it's I wouldn't call it a fossil. It's probably a living fossil for a lot of the problems we're solving in our careers. But it's just saying, as a designer, I'm just telling you what I see. I'm just observing human behavior. Observing the behavior of the customer of CVS Pharmacy. I sat in there, observed. I saw other frustrations, and therefore we should change this script in the service design, or we should change this wayfinding to address what I saw. And so, like design, if executed well, shows that you were listening first and foremost, and you were observing before you recommended.
Yeah, the Stephen King for or the story there is really interesting because you think of the way a lot of authors write, like if they know they're going to write three or four, they're writing a series and they know there's going to be 3 to 6 books, what have you, and they plot everything out. What they plant some seeds in book one of what's going to happen in book six, and based on what you said, King more or less wakes up and sees where the story takes him, which I think is fascinating and to some people likely terrifying. And I certainly find comfort in a list. A list is just a comforting, tangibly or metaphorically. It's kind of comforting to have you have to do ticked off.